Okay, guys, I'm just going to walk you through this, do a little voiceover for you. First thing I want to show you is I do actually have a 2.5 millimeter Hermsprenger prong collar on him. This is his first time wearing it, and it's very important that I point that out because it dictates how I actually handle him right now. You're actually going to see how much conflict that the sensation produces. Okay, he's not used to how it feels, so you could actually see right there. He's kind of just not used to how this feels, and so it's very important for me to be very light on it. Very light, bam. So I'm doing a very simple pressure release drill with very light leash pressure to where he feels it. As soon as he feels it, I take a step back and then I pay him. So I'm essentially trying to actually add a positive association to the sensation by feeding him after he feels it. And then, of course, we're doing a lot of him following me, coming back towards me. Now, right now, as you can see, he wants absolutely nothing to do with following me. So my whole objective is to just get him into a little bit more of a follower state of mind so that we could eventually get to a place where it's easier to walk him. Now, this approach doesn't involve very much conflict at all. The reason I don't use conflict here is because the kid just doesn't know what to do yet. I am in the business of teaching dogs. I am not in the business of slamming heavy corrections or producing a scared, fearful, shut down dog that is afraid to fail. Okay, now you can see he's absolutely all over the place. I'm not in a rush. I'm not in a rush. This video is probably, I think, 11 minutes long. And you could see him saying, I don't want to, I don't want to, I don't want to. Well, I'm here to kind of remind him that I know he doesn't want to, but I'm going to teach you where exactly it is that I'd like you to be. Teach you to follow the leash pressure, okay? Now, if we teach him to follow the leash pressure and attach something really positive to it, it's likely we're going to get to a place that we want to be a lot quicker, a lot more efficiently, and a lot more healthily, okay? So I'm doing tons of directional changes. I want to keep his engagement. I want to keep him following me. So as soon as he becomes disconnected, I change directions. You're about to see at some point here, he really has a little bit of a bitch fit. And yeah, we're going to kind of show you there it is. He's like, hey, I don't want to, I don't want to, I don't want to, I don't want to. I just sort of like say, hey, man, are you done? I don't really lay any sort of like physical correction on him, especially at this point in the game. He doesn't really know what the sensation is. I'm trying to slowly introduce him to what it is, teach him to follow it, and actually show him, like right there, that it's not such a bad thing to follow it. So there's just going to be tons and tons and tons of directional changes. And we're back. And at a certain point, I'll just start walking and doing directional changes without any food reward. But intermittently, I might feed him as well. I'm just trying to get him to engage with me as well. So there's a lot more happening here, and you can't hear it because I've taken the sound off the video, but I'm marking with a YES. Right there would have been a yes. Actually, hold on. Yes, right there. So I say yes, step back, feed, continue on, and wait for him to become disconnected, change directions, light leash pressure, nothing too heavy. Yes, good boy. Maybe slow him down, start to use the leash a little bit, but evidently right there. So here's where he has a real bitch fit. I try to give him a little bit of an indication that I don't want that. Okay, that was probably too much, to be honest with you. But he did actually kind of take the hint. You know, I like to watch these videos back to kind of like critique myself as well. That was probably a little too much pressure right there, to be quite honest with you. And I wanted to show you that. Normally I would just cut that out because I don't want people thinking that I'm like heavy-handed. I'm not. That was probably, you know, I hold myself accountable. That was probably a little too much as I sit here and watch this. But you'll see I'll go right back to the same light-handed approach. Figure eights, directional changes. Directional change, light pressure. Good. And you'll see he'll start to let up on this I don't want to stuff pretty quickly. That way and then this way. Good. Hand feeding is a game changer, guys. Got to be hand feeding for sure. Bam, 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 bam. Fix the leash. Look how quickly he comes off that defiance now. Again, guys, I'm not happy about how crazy I got with the leash back there. I could have just waited. What would I have done differently if I watched this back? I just let up and just wait for him to be done with his bullshit and then start again. Bam. Pay him that food. Look how quickly he's letting up on his bullshit now. I have to fix the leash because he fucked it up right there. Keep going like it didn't happen. Nice. You see him actually turn and make the choice on his own right there. That's the whole idea of this drill. You want to get to the point where when you turn, the dog will start to follow you on their own as well. But there's really no negotiating here. Every time they become disconnected, we have to have an answer for it. And we're trying to make it to where there's something in it for the dog, because dogs are very self-serving, they're very manipulative, and if we could just turn that around on them and formulate it into a real positive way where we can, get something good out of it ourselves, then that's exactly what we're going to do. I know it's a pretty boring, pretty tedious video, but you could already see he's starting to calm down a little bit. He's not disconnecting as much. He's actually already giving me a little bit of acknowledgement that I'm walking him, because he's never had a dog, he's never had an owner that was walking him from his perspective. He was always walking the owner, always walking the owner. And I step back and re-engage and change directions, and I positively reinforce with limited amount of conflict, limited amount of pressure, and we just get the dog to voluntarily do it a little easier, because they just get used to being there. They get used to getting paid. They get used to having, accountability. Right there, look at him do it on his own. It's a beautiful thing, you guys. If you've been tuning in for this whole video, you've seen it. You've seen the transformation. It's 8 minutes in. This dog has never had somebody do this for him. His owners are already going to be so pleased to watch this. Bam, pay that man his monies. Yep. Yep. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that, gentleman. Very light pressure. Very light pressure. Look at that. He's a good boy, Bailey. You can see how he's just so interested, engaged with everything in this non-distracting environment. There's nothing around you guys. Think about that. Now, that leads me to tell you exactly why I do most of the foundation work here at the ranch with very limited distractions and competing motivators. Because as far as I'm concerned, if I can't get this guy to engage with me and to walk like a gentleman in this particular environment, and we don't set a foundation of what's expected of him here, how in the world is he going to know what to do when we go to Home Depot? He will have no education and no ability to fall back on. Nothing, no teaching at all, if we just go to Home Depot and expect him to fall in line and to comply. This way, when we do go out to Home Depot, Homie's already had work, and he has something to fall back on, like I said previously. It's fair for the dog, and it makes life 10 times easier for the handler as well. So this is where we set the expectations. This is where we do the groundwork, and it's very important for me to do this with every single dog for the reason I just listed, but also I just have to have a relationship with him. I have to spend time with him. I have to show him that I'm the one leading him, as opposed to what he's used to for the past 2 years of his life, him calling literally every single shot. Okay? So this is relationship-focused work. Everything I'm doing right now is to build a foundation for relationship between handler and dog so that we can actually be on the same page, as opposed to the latter, which is him being on his own page. Oh, there's a random little defiance there, so I just fixed the leash and I continue on. I still didn't negotiate with him though. It's almost like I waited till he was done with his shit and then we continued on. If anything, I might even reward him once he stops all the bullshit. Look at this. Look at this walk, you guys. Look at this walk, you guys. Now soon I'm going to start going across the screen. Yes, little bit of leash. Pay him for stopping with me. Continue on. Bam, change directions. My goal is to see how far I can walk without having to give him any information at all. Doing great. Had to give him info. Had to start changing directions again. Look at the acknowledgement. Look at the little man giving me acknowledgement. Yes. I'm walking you, bro. I'm walking you, fam. All right, you guys. I'm going to check out. I hope this video was very beneficial for you. You could do this with any green dog, dude, or even the dog you already have that just needs skill sharpening. All right? Every time you change directions, I want you to look at where the dog ends up. Right behind you. Boom, little bit of leash there. Look at the acknowledgement, family. This is what we're after. It's a beautiful day. Good boy, Bailey. Thank you guys for your pledges. If you watched this whole video, I really appreciate you, and I do hope you got something out of it. Captain. Hey, also, let me know if there's something you'd like to see specifically. A little bit of a content block, writer's block. Don't really know what to put out, but I am going to be continuing to post updates with Bailey here. He knows nothing. He's completely green. He actually sits okay, but aside from that, I'll be posting all the updates in terms of the rest of the behaviors and the rest of the exposure to public and things like that. And then, of course, maybe in the end, we'll try to get a reaction from the owners as well in reference to how they feel about things and stuff like that. I think that'd be pretty interesting. So that will be the end of this video. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here, and we will see you at the next one. Let me know if you watched the video in the comments as well. Peace.